Have you ever heard of a game called Krunker? If not, I'm here to tell you about it. If you have, listen man, I'm just trying to make a video. Let me talk, bro. Throughout 2022, I've made the vow to try out new experiences, and while I'm a guy who commonly sticks to FPS games, I can't even begin to recommend Krunker if you're looking for something to waste a few hours on. Krunker is a free-to-play browser game that pretty much anyone can hop in and play. There's a lot of different classes and weapons, and I know for a fact the sniper is really fun to use, but I'm not here to talk about those weapons. If you watch my Phantom Forces video, you'll know that there's nothing I appreciate more in a video game than a well-done shotgun. Halo CE, Doom, Half-Life, Black Ops 2, all of these games have shotguns that are acclaimed as, I don't know what the word would be for a genre-defining weapon, but that's essentially what they are. Krunker's shotgun gets to be in this category due to one thing it's insanely good at, and one thing I'll talk about later. Krunker at its core isn't anything special. Not in a bad way, it's a free-to-play browser FPS. You hop on, get bombarded with ads, play a few games of common game modes on maps that you're sometimes already familiar with. We got a Nuketown clone, a map modeled heavily off of Dust 2. Hell, this one is literally Aztec from CSGO. Like, I'm not joking. The gunplay isn't super special, it's competent and has its own skill curve, but nothing you haven't seen before if you've played other FPS games. No, what sets Krunker apart from these other FPS games is the absolute level of movement and control over your character that you're able to achieve in this game. The best thing I can compare it to is CS Source. In that game, movement was such an integral part to being a good player that it was impossible to ignore, and those who dedicated their time to learning the ins and outs of its movement system were gifted with the ability to absolutely dominate servers. You most likely already know the video that's playing right now. You've probably seen it before, and if you haven't, go watch it. What are you doing? Krunker looks at this and considers this movement weak, pathetic. In CS Source, you can hop in circles around your opponent. Bro, in Krunker, you can hop in a star around and through your enemy without dropping speed. Honestly, if anything, you'll gain speed. Never before in a game have I been so utterly engaged in it simply because of how well I can move. Titanfall 2 feels amazing, that's impossible to deny, but that's a AAA game that I have to pay to get access to. Krunker requires no payment and is playable on virtually any computer. Hell, the only reason I ever learned about Krunker in the first place is because my friends played it during school and they thought I might like it. This movement style is where the shotgun comes in. While there's a plethora of weapons in the game that benefit from an insane amount of mobility and speed, there's none that benefit from it as much as the shotgun does. The fact that you can become a nearly unkillable speeding bullet that can cross a map within a second means the common shotgun counter, getting range, isn't a factor that exists if you're good at the game. You can reach pretty much anyone at any point on any given map before they have much of a chance to kill you. If you really don't believe me, look at the absolute list of nerfs the shotgun had to go through before the devs decided it was balanced enough to be a part of the game. Legit, with how good the movement in this game is, I have absolutely no clue how people choose to sit in a spot and camp. Like, do you know what you're missing out on? Why would you choose to do this to yourself? I have a few personal issues with the game. The amount of ads present throughout the desktop client are somewhat understandable. Everyone needs money, but like, bro, can it at least not be literal default Google ad space in the game or car commercials while I'm trying to use your guys' marketplace? It reminds me of the mobile ports that you can play on the Windows App Store if you scroll all the way down to the lowest rated stuff. Speaking of the marketplace, no one wants to buy your stupid fucking NFTs. Shut up. If you don't know what NFTs are, good. Just know that they're really stupid. Finally, I'm not exactly sure what the entire community consensus is, but like half of all the games I've decided to use the shotgun in usually end in people getting really butthurt over me using it. Like, from a competitive standpoint, I can understand. Did you know that this game has a Face It League, by the way? A flying shotgun is a little annoying to deal with, but it's not really different from a flying SMG or LMG or sniper rifle, so I'm still confused on that. Even then, I'm not playing in a competitive game mode. I just throw on some Doom music and pretend like I'm the Doom Slayer. There's no need to bust out the big guns. In my Phantom Forces video, I talked a bit about how I wish to see what the developers of that game could do without being restricted to the confines of the Roblox engine, which I've also now learned is actually an engine. While these games are completely different beasts, one designed after a mix of Battlefield and Call of Duty, while the other is basically just a movement game full of a bunch of COD game modes, but I think this is a project a studio, like the people who work on Phantom Forces, could make if they were to branch away from Roblox. Not that the people who worked on Phantom Forces would make something like this. Overall, if you're familiar with FPS games that are interested in blowing off some steam for a bit, check out this game. Again, I know next to nothing about the actual fan base, but a lot of it is kids in school, so these lobbies are basically free to dominate. Also, to the dev who decided that the old shotgun model was outdated and decided to update it to this new model, change it back. You messed with perfection and it looks worse. Legitimately go back. I'm not joking. Go back. If you enjoyed the video, click on an end screen and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 40,000 subs soon.